So what you would be looking for, you wouldn't be just looking for it one-off that you see that kid.
Right.
So in this structure, we've showed them that we're going to be looking for knowledge and understanding point 1 in that part of the assignment.
Right.
In the design brief part of the assignment.
Oh, all the way through. There's a couple of parts, isn't there?
So that's virtually where it is. Now, in the design brief part of the assignment, that's a rewording of what the problem is.
Right.
Okay?
Yep.
Knowledge and understanding point 2 is really about design criteria. So it's a really tight criteria.
Right.
So you know the table that we've got in the assignment, so that the kids do functional design, aesthetic design, and then design for their graphical product.
Yep, yep.
Well, if you go through and you can annotate that, there it is, identification and comprehensive description of relevant design criteria. If you can't see design criteria anywhere through the assignment, on that particular one, they haven't shown you any evidence of that at all, so it's down here.
Right.
If they've shown you, see, even here it's saying there's a comprehension of graphical principles and procedures. Sorry, that's the wrong one. Identification and description of design criteria. So they've actually identified some. So that's where I would be my starting point, even for an A kid. Have they actually identified design criteria? Yes, they have. Are those design criteria measurable and repeatable? If they're not measurable and repeatable, how can the kid actually comment on it at the end of their assignment when they do their evaluation?
That's right.
So if they don't do a good job of setting it up here with their criteria, they're
going to be poor down at
they're going to be poor down here because they've got nothing to actually evaluate against.
I understand.
So whilst most kids, you would hope, have actually written some sort of design criteria down, like they might say that has to be a 2-bedroom house. Okay. Over here, they start to be a little bit more comprehensive about that. All right, so it might be a 2-bedroom house suited for living in the tropics. Okay.
And who
the design criteria might be something like makes good use of the climate. All right. Or
allows bigger windows to allow the airflow to come in and the scenery of the sea and
the bigger windows isn't necessarily the criteria. The bigger windows is in their design.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Their criteria is that it needs to be eco-friendly, the house, and low energy, highly energy efficient. That's the criteria. But some kids might detail that in a little bit more and say that it has to, in a climate that is a warm climate, it has to be a cool house. So you could just say a C would be a kid saying has to be an eco-friendly house. They haven't really said much, but they've given you a criteria, so they've identified it.
So what if they go...
An A kid might say an eco-friendly house in a tropical environment that makes use of breezes, sun.
Oh, okay. So not necessarily the windows or the...
No, because the design itself says, my criteria says I have to make use of the breeze. In my design, I'm going to put big windows in. At the end of the assignment, I assess and evaluate and say, that was my criteria. I needed to make use of the breeze. Yes, I've done that because I've put some big windows in that make use of the breeze, which is coming from the east.
Understand. Yep.
So if they set it up really well there,
it should flow right through the whole assignment.
But what you need to be doing when you actually mark the kids' work is you go through that design criteria and say, yes, I can see that they've tied that in with the design factors. So you might just write a code there, DF, and put a tick beside it. I can see that that's a comprehensive description. So yes, comprehensive description. You write those 2 words.
Okay.
So when Mark or somebody else looks at it from panel, they can say, yes, he's saying that that's a comprehensive description of that design factor. That's why he's given that kid an A.
So be more thorough.
And if we go through and do that, not only will it guide us, I think, more accurately in positioning the kid in the correct position, but it also makes it very easy then for the panellists to say, bang, 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 yep, I've only got this amount, X amount of time to look at this submission from Innisfail.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 yes, I can see exactly where the teacher's identified this. I'm happy to agree to that.
Right. Okay.
Whereas if we've just got ticks in there and then a result at the end, they're saying, what have they come up with this? I've got to spend the time looking through this to verify this, and then...
Yeah, the last time we went through this, when you sent me up to the panel to just monitor and to have a look at it, it was...
That's more for grade 11, and in grade 11, what they're more looking at in grade 11 is, have we designed an assessment piece that allows a kid to give us this evidence?
Right, right.
Decision making is more grade 12 verification.
Right,
So
okay.
have I looked at the criteria? Have I assessed it according to the criteria? So like Mark said at that last workshop that we went to in Cairns where they were going through these things, he said, be very careful that you're not just giving the kid an A based on effort. So if you know this is a kid who's worked very, very hard, they might not necessarily have hit the A for working hard.
Right, right.
All right.
You still need to have
probably
evidence.
In some cases, I mean, it's difficult for us as graphics teachers because the kids are doing this assessment in class.
Right.
So you know exactly which kid's done it.
Yeah,
But, you know, a good practice is to have no idea who's handed that assignment into you so that you're coming in without any preconceived ideas about that kid.
Funny you say that because that's what I do try to do is not look at who the paper is and then just go straight through it, and then I look at it afterwards and I go, oh, that's Kai's or that was Glenn's, but obviously some of them I know straight away.
Well,
it's going to be Glenn's or Marnie's because of the way.
I think if we're very careful about this here, that will guide you too, and you can say, right, in this first part, I'm specifically looking at these 2 points. Do I see evidence of that? Bang, bang, bang. Yes, I do. All right. You might even have one of these as a guide sitting there for a kid, and you can say, yes, I can see evidence there.
Would it benefit if I got them to self-evaluate it themselves, using this as a guide, like giving themselves a grade at the end of it?
The only...
So then they can see what they've missed.
Yes, I can see the use that I can see in that, not to guide you with your marks.
No.
But to guide them in drafting.
Yeah.
So they can say, right, okay, have I actually covered that?
Right.
Have I covered it to what level coming back to the rubric? What level do I think I'm sitting at?
Right.
Is it comprehensive, or have I just made a description there of the criteria?
Right.
How could I make it comprehensive?
Right. No, I agree with you. And, okay.
Possibly what they need to be
doing that with them tomorrow.
Possibly what they need to be doing is that do this part of the assignment
and break them up
and then come back
like
and analyse that
right
and come back and check it against here and redo that part of the assignment, because
right
if they find out at this stage with the design criteria that they weren't comprehensive,
right,
it's too late really to make it comprehensive when they finish the assignment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep. No,
So
I agree.
there's that there. Now, what I've done with the Raspberry Pi, so what we need to see when you mark this...
We'll just stop there.